What a life.
Hmm. Welcome, everybody. We are doing our first monthly live for our podcast, He Vibes, She Dives, with Lady.
Yes, hi everyone. I am Lady Drasmin.
I am Timber, the other co-host, and
We are the hosts of He Vibes, She Dives.
yes, welcome and thank you. So, our conversation today, we're
Hold that thought for a moment. So, first, we were just having a whole bunch of technical difficulties, and the scheduled live link had to be scrapped. So, we are now diving in to this conversational field. And it feels really interesting that we were having such difficulties and you felt that interference as well, even though we cleared the field. We came on and we still had to clear the field a couple more times.
yes,
And I feel like that's how thick the energy of this topic is.
yes,
That there was this like 20-minute delay. And even though we planned and prepared for it, there was still like, it was like we'd never done this before.
it's so true. To the point to where when Drasmin was working on the behind the scenes, I was working on clearing, and I was also connecting with our dwarven family to help start to energetically build a structure around our house to even make it even more secure while you're doing that, just because we need that anymore.
Yes, and it speaks to the collapse of, well, a whole lot of things right now. And will continue leading us into today's conversation as you were a moment ago.
Yes, yes, yeah. So we are speaking on our last video that we both did together and solo. Is we were talking about spiritual bypassing, spiritual ego, and cultural appropriation. So that is what we are diving into today. And for those that are watching, if you have any questions about anything relating to this, please feel free. I have her laptop next to me to reply.
He has the power.
As I was raised by He-Man, I have the power. Own it.
Uh-huh.
So, to kick us starting off, with everything going on, it's interesting because the spiritual ego and the bypassing, they're like besties. I feel like they kind of go hand in hand. Like you really can't have one without the other.
Right. Uh-huh.
And so,
tell me more about how that has been showing up for you in collective.
in the collective?
Yeah.
Well, you see it as, if I can just work on explaining this in a certain way. If you take what's going on like today in the world around us, all the leaders are masters of using their ego in different ways, either way to dismiss or whether to distract or to not tell us the complete truths. They'll tell you what they want you to hear, but not the truth, which requires discernment, which is a whole other part of this that is the counterpart to a lot of this. So I see it a lot in the world today because we see them showing up, distracting us and telling us what we want to hear, knowing how the collective is and how we're struggling and how we're struggling because more and more we're waking up. People are asking more questions. People are starting to finally be like, wait, what's going on? So their egos are feeling threatened. So they create more distractions to keep us in the loop. So I see that as one of the biggest, especially with what's going on today
Mm-hmm.
with the war
Mm-hmm.
and everything else, the files, the war.
Mm-hmm.
To take the heat off, they create other distractions.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like, they're not owning it, so they bypass it
Mm-hmm.
with their version of a lie or their version of a truth that they want us to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So they do a bypassing in a totally different way than if, as an individual, I would bypass based on my traumas and my personal experiences and my subconscious, trying to be like, whoa, 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 we're entering new consciousness here. Careful. So we're going to create all these things to come up to not be able to not be able to work on that ego thing. Or it says, no, we're just going to bypass. We're going to jump ahead a little bit, knowing that you still are missing this gap of integration.
Right.
To be able to hold that energy, knowing that it'll collapse on myself, and then I revert back to where I was before, and then it's a loop.
And the whole reason, I mean, what they are bypassing after all is their appropriation of land, of culture, of power, of resources.
Whew.
Right? So it's like at the root of bypassing is pillaging, piracy, or piracy. Which one is it? Is it piracy or piracy?
Piracy.
Whatever the word is. There's this, we talk about cultural appropriation, but like it goes deeper than culture. Right? It's like natural law of life. And they're not only bypassing themselves, but they're bypassing like all of life. So one could potentially argue, are they even of like human consciousness? I mean, we've had episodes in the past where we've talked about reptilians and shadow governments, and tying that topic into this one, where does that line cross from willful ignorance to just like you're just hijacked and you're basically SOL now?
That is a great question. That's a great question, because most of us have no clue. I mean, for the most part, 99% of the population on this planet don't even believe that the reptilians are real. So there's that. They've done an amazing job at covering up.
Right. So then perhaps take that out of the field for just a moment and entertain, their perception for a moment. Still, where's the question of this is accepting versus there's something else? Whether this is, mine versus another. I see we have something.
We have a
coming
question
in the field.
It says, what is culture?
Who is this? Welcome.
Tan Hawk Group.
Oh, welcome, brother. Hi, Ryan. It's nice to see you again, brother. Ryan was present a few months ago when I was co-hosting a summit with the beautiful High Priestess, Lady Anika of Seeds of Divinity, and Timber was one of our guest speakers. And we have a brother here who was a guest then, returning. Welcome. Nice to feel your energy again.
Hello, Ryan. Good to see you, brother. Thank you for joining us.
So yeah, on the topic of cultural appropriation, Ryan has brought a question into the field.
What is culture?
Great question. What is culture?
Culture to me is an organization system that was designed for sections. It's almost like, I have to be careful with this because I do respect and I honor culture in different parts of the world. But I also believe that there's different cultures and different belief systems designed to separate us, to keep us in sections, so that people are like, instead of seeing ourselves as a human collective, it's I'm American, I'm European, I'm Asian, I'm this, I'm that. And the deeper part of that is the culture. But at the same time, I feel like it's the people that make culture the amazing thing that it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's celebrations,
Mm-hmm.
festivals, what their belief systems are,
Mm-hmm.
they're the ones that still help it evolve or shift and change throughout history and time.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like a lot of that keeps us separated from expanding from one culture to another unless you're open-minded and you're willing to experiment and step into those other cultures.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, most people, most humans, I feel like, are safe in their culture, in their container.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, to me, that's culture is a different version of a container
Mm-hmm.
of the collective.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
A beautiful one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'm not just dishonoring it or anything,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
just trying to take hawk perspective and see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. 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 I love that. Yeah, and I totally see your perspective of culture being like containers. And there are definite practices, shall we say. I feel like culture is another great word for container in which therein are ingredients, practices, beliefs, ways of engaging. Like cannibalism was once a culture, right? And that doesn't mean that that's the most evolved way to coexist in the human experience. So yeah, containers a great way to look at culture.
Yeah.
I would say that. What do you think, Ryan, about Timber's perspective on culture, and if you have something to offer into that, we would love to
Yeah.
hear it.
Yeah.
So if we look at culture at that perspective of it being a container that belongs to a certain people, group of people, because they have cultivated it, developed it through their own devotion, connection to the land, then the appropriation would be the taking of something that doesn't belong to you.
Which is human history.
Which is what America was founded on. America, the land of the free and the brave, was founded on the cries of the oppressed and enslaved.
And genocide.
Genocide.
Of so many indigenous tribes in
rape
America.
of the land, rape of the women, rape of the elders. The indigenous people, like even that word feels a little off, feels a bit colonial. But like the native people of the land here, they already had their way of being.
They did. But on the flip side, there's also other tribes that fought the other tribes because their cultural belief systems didn't line up with the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean.
So where is that energy? Like let's clear the energy of the field here of like what is clearing, what is misaligned with life versus what is appropriation.
Yeah, and the thing is that too is it attaches to the ego. Whoa, that was interesting.
That was interesting.
That also attaches to the ego because if you're not willing to be open-minded to learn another culture, another perspective, another way of being,
Mm-hmm.
then we're not allowing ourselves to expand as a conscious world.
Mm-hmm.
If we're so stuck in our ideologies
Mm-hmm.
and our belief systems,
Mm-hmm.
that we're not willing to expand, to be open.
So I love that you said that ego and bypassing our besties. And my live solo, where I spoke into ego, I talked about it being a collective identity and not something that belongs to you. That word my is a word of possession. And one of the very first words I invite my clients and students to discern deeper if that is really something that they want to be in possession of. But this whole like ego and bypassing being besties things, love that. And I just had a thought about ego and culture and how they correlate, but I would love to hear what came through.
Yeah. So Ryan did reply. He says, "I love it. Feels like we are weaving in a new harmonized culture.
Yes.
Embodied sovereign decentralized ecosystems versus centralized, compartmentalized systems.
Aho.
Love it, brother.
That is correct. Yes.
Love it.
Yes. By removing the word my and allowing ourselves to share of our cultures with those who are honoring of it, and cultivating those healthy boundaries of sharing stories, spiritual practices, and then carrying that forward in a respectful way, we create, as Ryan said, an embodied, sovereign, decentralized ecosystem. Ah! I love that.
I love how you wrote that, brother. Well done. Well
Yeah,
said.
so good.
I dig that. Yeah, because it's just like we get so caught up in I'm this, I'm that. Every other way or is not the right way.
Mhm. It starts to pervert competition, which is meant to build esteem
Yeah.
and temper, refine use of personal power versus create division and abuse.
Yeah. It makes me emotional even just speaking this out loud, but like John Lennon's song Imagine. The verse imagine no borders, there's no separation. There's just we're all one world. We're all one humanity versus no, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. Because in all honesty anymore, we're all so mixed in our DNA. Like in 3,000 years ago, there's more your bloodline was more
pure blood.
But we're not that way anymore. So the fact that we are hanging on to these theories and these stories isn't serving humanity any further, because we need to expand beyond those things.
And so in the accord of alchemizing in real time, perhaps this is how we integrate and seal and evolve beyond this conversation to we're no longer participating in the narrative of having an ego. We're no longer participating in the narrative of having a culture. We are a singular oneness existing within sovereign earth consciousness.
While also learning how to stand up and embrace our warrior selves to speak up against what is not right. Like ICE. Just saying that out loud. That's one example.
Absolutely.
The borders, because we're in Arizona.
The land does not belong to anyone, and anyone who has a paper that says they own property, you're stewards of the land. You die, you will literally become the dirt that you're standing upon. The land does not belong to anyone, right? And this is not to completely throw tradition and culture out.
No.
This is simply to bring more acceptance beyond self, and to bring that humility back of recognizing where one has appropriated, one has bypassed. It's not as a judgment, as a restoration of respect.
Yes. Agreed. Agreed.
And the point that I was coming to of ego and culture, of I spoke into how ego is collective personal identity expressed as a greater whole, and then culture is that container that ego is expressed in. So as we detach from claiming something outside of self as that which is personal identity, we can evolve to be a modal culture of different practices.
Agreed. Ryan added on, feels like many are pretending to be God rather than becoming divine, calling themselves chosen ones but not choosing themselves. Once we stop abandoning our past selves, ancestors, etc.
Chosen ones. That's a really good one to dive into. Speaking of ego and bypassing and this whole topic, what do you think? Shall we crack this one open?
Ryan, it's amazing that I love that you mentioned that. I
Mhm.
do, because there are those of us that are very well aware that we are considered the chosen ones.
And the ones who know, we
We,
know silently.
yeah, we a lot of us don't want to be sharing that in the light.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also starting to wonder these days if, like what you were saying, we need to step in the light more and more. That's where we need to be the light warriors and step up and take that space and to be seen, to allow ourselves to be seen, heard, and to allow everyone to be like, what makes you think you're chosen one? And deal with all of the things that will come because we know it will. And those of us that realistically are the chosen ones, I'm learning, I will say this, throughout my travels and those I have met and come across, a lot of us are actually very ancient, old. We're some of the old ones here. It's not like we're better than anybody else. It has nothing to do with it. It has to do with the fact that we've been here for over 500,000 years reincarnated on this planet. And when we first incarnated, a lot of us were very powerful beings that people used to consider, or what we call in mythologies, gods and goddesses. That the mythologies, by the way, are not all truths. There's some truths. There's a lot of things that have changed after the flood. Anyways, I digress. So, is there anything you want to add to this?
So, speaking of the chosen ones, Ryan's saying, yes, I am chosen because I choose myself. Absolutely.
100%.
And that's ultimately like there are some beings who are walking this earth that are true ancient ones. But we are all chosen
Mm-hmm.
to come and experience life.
Being in a physical being.
Like being in a physical body is fucking hard. Okay?
Yeah.
Like being human, going through the experience of like coming into the womb and turning into a body over 9 months from like this spark and then growing and developing. And especially in today's world, like we have already chosen to come and experience this in one form or another. No matter how many times you have reincarnated, or if this might be, a younger life for you, a new life, a first time life. There are some first time lives that are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So choose yourself and and eliminate the distortion, like stop pedestalizing that the chosen one is like Jesus or Buddha or some other avatar who's going to come down from some unknown place and save you and save and fix the issues around you. I have an acronym for problems. PROBLEMS. Perceiving running or blaming leaves everything magically solved.
That's beautiful.
Like we have to choose
Wow.
ourselves and recognize that we have chosen to be a part of this experience. And so we are responsible for the choices that we make from that sovereign blueprint of choice. And the ancient ones were living in a timeline that isn't so corrupt and infested with density.
Yeah. And
Right.
we actually
And so
had temples.
right. And so there was an ability to access that power without all of this noise that made them more powerful. It wasn't more powerful, it's just that they didn't have all this clutter. And then a lot of these beings who knew how to access that power because of their genetic design, because of what they were anointed to come into this earth to experience, were then bound, temples stripped. The British Empire has done a fantastic mock up job of raping temples all over the world and desecrating holy land in the name of, well, ultimately power, whatever face they like to put on it.
Yeah, they've been playing a chess game for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ryan said he stopped abandoning my past versions of me.
And boom. So
Well done. That's a lot of inner work. And Ryan, I want to just take a moment to just bow my ponytail to you, brother, because as brothers and men, we have a lot to undo. A lot of lies, all the things we've been told, what it means to be a man, and all the things. So I see you, brother, and I honor that, and I honor you.
yeah, because no longer abandoning self is where the bypassing stops.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say?
Yeah, I said bypassing seems like harvest without the work.
100%. Bypassing is
Oh,
absolutely 100% the harvest without the work, right? A lot of teachers out there teaching, a lot of people out there teaching yoga and Kundalini as an Indian woman. I am absolutely appalled. And I cannot entertain in my inner circle those who do not respect the Indian traditions in the way they are meant to be honored. And the circle is small and yet it is pure. And this is where the difficulty lies. It is in the loneliness that one starts to experience when one starts to take personal responsibility and ownership, which you deeply talked about, for personal choice, regardless of whether well meaning intention, lack of awareness, intentional, idiocy, it doesn't matter. Taking that responsibility brings up a loneliness and that recognition. Now I can no longer participate in certain circles, certain activities, certain conversations,
yeah.
right? And this is where the ego can become dismantled, and that weakens the power of a very small group of people that are holding a lot,
Yeah.
because people are just giving it up
Freely.
freely.
So easily. All they need is a new iPhone.
Oh my goodness.
Or
You
or
went there.
or something. Like, hey, look here, but here's this. And then everyone's just like they're so distracted on the material that they're
Let's
not
talk
paying
about.
within the inner.
So, from the chosen ones, we choose ourselves. Materialism is how they are distracting you from choosing yourself, because you're constantly choosing something outside of you. Instant access, order now, click here. You
Mm-hmm.
don't even have to put any effort. Everything is easily available to you right now. Please insert card now.
Yeah.
You literally just gave your power away.
Thank you. Have a good day.
And then you wonder why, and then you complain about it. There's a lot of people complaining, or then they go and do little retreats and little ceremonies and little things in there, and they just fluff and fluff and fluff, and it's so just like normalized.
But I will say, on the receiving end of that, or going through those, is it really is challenging. You do have those retreats or those weekends, and you totally disconnect, and you fully are like, boom, and then it's like then you come back to society, and it's like that's where the integration. It's like the fall. It's like you realize the potential, what's there, and then you come back to the reality of what's around you, and you're just like, oh my gosh.
So I love this bridge. I love this bridge. We've talked about where the collective and ourselves have been stuck in the past. Now we're in this here now. Where do we shift forward? How do we execute effective change within ourselves, our inner circles, our communities, so that we end the spiral and the hamster wheel once and for all, and anchor more of that eco-harmonic, sovereign collective?
I would like to say, I, I, I wish I had more hope in most of humanity to say that we could figure it out together and on our own, without having to have natural disasters and massive things that just totally rock us and shake us so far out of it that we're like, oh my gosh, we need each other to survive. We need each other to like to fix this or to have food or.
A perfect example is the experience that you shared with me, the conversation you had with that brother about New Orleans,
Oh.
right? Will you bring that forward?
New Orleans. And
Yes,
the
the Hurricane
flood,
Katrina.
The Hurricane and Katrina.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we came across this couple, and they're talking about they remember the before Katrina and after Katrina in New Orleans. They talked about how before it felt very separated, segregated, and it was like very small little cliques throughout all of New Orleans. Even though it worked and it made New Orleans what it was, it was still. They said that you can still obviously tell that there's segregation and separate. But after the flood, everyone had lost things, and then not only that, but like the people that came in to help rebuild, all of a sudden there was more Hispanic influence or different cultures coming in, and a lot of those lines seem to have shifted because everyone started working together, and the old collapsed, and they're rebuilding the new.
And so I bring this forward now, not as something to like scare the people, but like the inevitability of natural disaster. If balance is not maintained within self, because as within, so without, and the world is in chaos because there's a lot of internal imbalance, there's a lot of disassociation. The ego matrix is collapsing. There is more and more. I mean, I've been on this path for over a decade of deep conscious quantum decluttering, almost 20 years now, actually more than a decade. And I have noticed a an explosive awakening in the collective in the last few months, which in a way has restored my hope, because a lot of this awakening is happening with our younger generation, our youth. There's more information coming out on the social media that is more in truth than in distortion, right? The deeper work, the integration is in our inner circles, in what we allow in our bodies, in what we allow in our minds, in what we allow in our conversations. And earlier you mentioned ice.
Yeah.
And we recently had an experience around this, and
technically they weren't ice.
They weren't.
But when the situation we had where they came at us, surrounding us in a park, the first thing both of us did without saying a word is we looked for ice anywhere on their badges, because
I was the only brown person in that park in that moment.
Yep. And I was ready to go to war if that was the case.
Thankfully,
no.
that was
Thankfully
not the
that
case.
did not go down that way.
But the fact that that came up for the both of us, that is the invitation that I am bringing forward to you, is to start having these conversations and stop normalizing dysfunction within our inner circles by choosing willful silence that is literally creating more harm than good. Sometimes silence is golden, but when your silence is costing the peace of someone you love, is that really love?
Or even the collective. It's not helping serve any of that. Ryan says, change the story. When we change how we see the thing changes. Does the thing serve me, or do I serve it? Material realm here to reflect and teach. Not good, bad, all valuable. Yeah.
Yes.
And thank you for the love back, Ryan. Mahalo.
But materialism, yes, the material world and deeper still, materialism. What were you going to say about that?
I lost my train of thought reading all this.
Okay, fair. Yeah, fair.
I get distracted easily, everyone. So
That's okay.
Please re-ask me that question.
We were talking about the materialism and how they distract us with the materialism.
Yeah. And it's always been that way. So it's just like in the ancient times, it was just like, it was more like, do you have cows? Do you have any bit of land? Do you have anything?
Cows.
And then it's evolved. Back in the old days, man, it was like you traded animals.
Mm-hmm.
That was
those beads that you were wearing were once used in trade. Mm-hmm.
So they've learned that humans, especially of the lower vibration, or just the not understanding of the things around them
Mm-hmm.
and how it is being played out.
Mm-hmm.
They're easily controlled.
Well, they learned that by distorting how love presents, they trigger survival. And survival is what makes people do ugly things.
Yeah. Because, when you're starving and you have a family to feed,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to do what you need to do.
Yeah. By not allowing right use of shared resources,
Yeah.
they've created starvation and over excess, extremists.
Extremist. Yeah.
So bringing this all in, starting to bring this in, where do you find yourself now in relation to the topic? In your live and in our duo, there was a lot of like past and current experience. Now, we're in real time. Where do you see yourself now with that topic and how that applies to you or through you?
Well, thank you. For one, it's always, that is something that will probably always keep expanding
Mm-hmm.
and unraveling, and just lessons and
Mhm.
perspectives constantly shifting and changing.
Mm-hmm.
From the situations that I've been living in personally since the original video was recorded, a lot has happened. So much has happened in that year. And literally not the same me that I was then.
Yeah.
And I have been working really hard on paying attention to the victim speaking I speak and how I was raised. My whole life I have struggled with unworthiness. I have struggled with being poor. I've struggled with not good enough. I've struggled with I'm not smart enough. All the things. I'm never enough. Ever enough. And so it's like reworking those stories, but those stories transcended all the other things.
Mm-hmm.
And while doing that work, I start seeing it more in the media. So as I'm shining a light on my own inner thoughts, belief systems, all that, I'm starting to see how it shows in the world around me. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, that's tricky that they do that. Or it's tricky that my own mind does that to myself over and over again with the traumas. And
I mean, they've been running collective experiments since at least, it's the 60s with the popularization of television. That definitely is what anchored in their ability to mute the higher frequencies that already exist within consciousness, which is why the phrase raise your frequency really annoys me. Raise your vibration. It's like your natural vibration is health and joy, which is the highest vibration. But because of the constant noise that has been pumped into collective for the last, since the Industrial Revolution, really, that higher vibration requires work. to access,
Just to have clean food these
just
days.
to have clean food. Like,
The labels.
if it has modified in it, please don't eat it. The fact that we have to read our food labels, even in healthy grocery stores. Like, where is the personal responsibility around the leadership, especially those who have money and power? I'm going to, for a moment, just call out the people who have money, who own these health shops, these healthy grocery stores. Are you truly talking the talk, walking the walk? Because that's the only way that we are going to heal this planet and evolve.
Most of the time, the ones I see are like the local small businesses that are doing heart-led work to make that a reality.
They are way
and
far
they're struggling.
They're way far and few in between, and they're not getting enough support. And this is because collective is not supporting them. So again,
and they have to raise the prices because of how all the work they have to do to make all the food clean.
Right.
As opposed to Amazon and Whole Foods and all the other that's just so easy and so accessible that it makes it hard for them to.
Right. And coming back to service through community, which is why I usually go to Facebook Marketplace first. Yeah, I could easily go to Amazon or the store. I could get it quickly. But I'm a firm marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, not so much Craigslist anymore. There are way too many men out there looking for women with easy access. That's a
whole other subject.
That's a whole other subject, y'all. Don't get me started. I will raise war today. Not a good place to poke the bear for me. So, removing that from the field for a moment, I'm all about recycled economy, cyclical economy. And every single one of us has the choice to locate or initiate. Gather your people. Accept nothing less than cooperative, creative communion.
Yeah.
And that starts with accepting ourselves.
Yeah.
And learning how to hold space for those parts that we might not like and are having a tantrum. It's like, okay, I know you're having a tantrum, but this is going to happen.
Which I want to, from that, I just want to go into spiritual bypassing a little bit.
Yes, please.
Because I was called out on that when I was in my early 20s from she was a mentor of mine and caught me off guard because I worked at a hospital. She was a scientist, but she studied shamanism with the twisted hairs, and she saw right through me. I didn't know people could do that back then like that, and she did, and she called me out on it because I was like, religious people, blah 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 blah, and she's just like, yo, your ego's getting out of control because you're judging them just like they're judging you. And how can you walk a higher path? She's like, let them judge you. Like, whatever, who cares? Focus on you. And, it's just like, I don't go up to people and just be like, you look like you need some meditation. Have you, tapped into some rune magic? Have you done this? Have you studied this? Like, but like Christians will not hesitate to be like, ooh, can I pray for you? You need Jesus in your life. They won't hesitate. So usually. So I have a problem with that aspect. But the whole bypassing for me is just like, I was taught that young, but recently my brother Riverstone, who runs a men's group in Oregon, in Eugene, the Wolfpack, good brothers, his version of own your ship, own your shit, own your stuff, own your thoughts, your beliefs, everything, own it. Because we're all guilty to a certain point of spiritual ego, bypassing, but it's the work that we do. And one of the key ingredients for me is to own who you are, your thoughts, your beliefs. How can you change it if you don't own it? Whether it's considered good or bad, there's a lot of things I own about myself that I'm not proud of.
Yeah.
But it's my shadow side. There's value in my shadow side as well as there is my light side. So it's like, in the whole bypassing is you're taking out the whole most important part, which is integration. Like,
you cannot override the body. It will catch up to you.
You are not going to wake up one day and be like, see a thing on Instagram and be like, oh, there's a 10-mile race tomorrow. I haven't ran in 20 years, but you know what? I feel called. And I can do this. And you sign up and you go and try to run that 20 miles. Yo, you're going to be in a whole world hurt and humbled.
Yeah. And in the same way, when tapping into like spiritual wisdoms, especially the Kundalini yoga, I'm just going to bring that in as an example. That requires a steady nervous system to practice from. So if you don't even know what yoga is, what you even doing?
Well, you know, I will say, being from how I was raised here, you know, talking and meeting you has brought a whole different light and perspective to a lot of those things. Because I remember in the 90s, like, anyone who did yoga was like, why would you do that? Only people in India, in those places, or dirty hippies do yoga.
Yeah.
Like, it was not a yoga studio all over the place.
Dirty hippies do yoga. I remember the first time I heard that phrase, and it upset me so deeply. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like that was the perspective back then. You know, either you're well traveled, or you're a hippie, or you're from the country.
How interesting.
And that was, you know, and things have changed so much since then.
Yeah, I mean, yoga is such a powerful practice to master breath through the body, and it is definitely the foundational practice for deeper practices such as Kundalini activation and other practices. But the conversation that we have is not about like the integration of practice. It's about when we use practice without being able to explain it simply, especially if that's not of your tradition and culture. There's nothing wrong with wanting to learn something new. It's when we start to chip at what we have received to make it more palatable for our lifestyle. That's where the problem happens. That's a true problem. So yes, embodiment is indeed the key, and owning your feelings. Yes, your feelings, your emotions are information, energy in motion, and embodiment.
Yeah, he has a good one right above it too. Breathe, movement equals spiritual technology.
Yes.
Breath movement.
Yes. Yoga is breath and movement, which is spiritual technology. That's clearly a brother who understands yoga, but isn't out there, you know, with his little tidy whities pretending to be a guru. So thank you, brother. Your embodiment shows in your words, in your energy frequency. It's felt.
Truth.
So how do we want to wrap up today's conversation and bring...
Yeah, we kind of went here, there. And
we did, and it was a live, free flow, unscripted.
It's just how today has gone.
Today has been. Mercury still be shading.
Yeah.
Although all the planets are direct, Mercury still shading, and yet the fire is there to create, to activate, to anchor right relationship. And I think that's how the embodiment piece comes in, is what are you doing to be in right relationship with yourself, with the others that you are in circle with, and where in your circle they are. You brought this into my field, circles, and in right relationship with the earth. All at once.
Yeah. And I would like to ask something to everybody. When you're in public, just try smiling at people more. Make eye contact and smile. What do you always tell me? What's your comment about kindness?
Oh, this is an affirmation that I used for a few years to help me cultivate healthy boundaries within myself and accept another sovereign as they choose to be, even if I don't particularly like their choices. And it is, I want you to eat, just not at my table.
There's that. But I was talking about kindness doesn't cost anything.
Oh, yeah, kindness doesn't cost anything.
Kindness doesn't cost
I don't
anything.
know why my brain went there, but that's what I thought you were referring to.
That is okay. You're going through. Anyways, the
Yeah, kindness doesn't cost a thing.
but yeah, that's the thing. It's just like when it comes to ego and spiritual bypassing, one of the things is how we show ourselves up in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And just that's why I just say this is just like for our ego's sake of getting out of our own stories. Like for me, like doing men's work has taught me that all the men out there in the world are not my enemies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was raised with an abusive dad to where the man I was supposed to trust hurt me. So I didn't trust any other man because if I can't trust my own father, I can't trust any other men out in the world. I have to be on guard all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what they want us to think.
Mm-hmm.
So again, working with the ego.
Mm-hmm.
How do we battle ego?
Mm-hmm.
How do we do it in a different way?
How do we alchemize?
That's a better word.
The dysfunctional hold that ego has on the collective.
Thank you.
Because this new timeline that we're in, war, combative action is not an option. Like, we have seen enough war. We have seen enough combative action. The warriors are tired. We want to just be peaceful warriors. Every warrior, like the warrior's creed is, we want peace, but we will get violent if we have to.
Yeah.
Like, our goal is peace. Our intention is peace. Our practice is peace. But they are seen as violent, well, because they eventually have to get there because y'all ain't listening.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. So, again, just some kindness and own your ship.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Take the time to really, please sit with that.
Men, you were saying, you were inviting the audience into look at people, eye contact and smile. And that's a great practice, especially for men. As a woman, when you said that, I felt myself contract. And I want to speak into that for a moment, right?
Please do.
Because like the feminine, we are raised in like, smile, be polite. You'd be more pretty if you smiled. So like there's this program that the feminine has been conditioned with of we just need to smile all the time to look good. And then there's the other end of like, if we do show connection, a big struggle that the feminine collective has is unwanted attention.
That is truth too. That is true.
So that's, again, that ownership piece comes in. And what I would add to that ownership piece, I just wanted to address that because I had to work through that within myself. And now I look at specific people. I let my energy lead into who I look into. And it's usually elderly men, elderly women, my sisters. I tend to avoid men around my age group because I can just feel the energy. So it's like I allow my frequency to lead me to look at someone, eye contact, smile, open a door for them. At least I used to do that when my hands were stronger. There's so many ways that we can show kindness and just acknowledge that there's another sovereign that is going through their own human experience that you know nothing about, but your acknowledgement of their existence may just be the medicine that they need. Because I've received that medicine a few times.
True. And thank you for sharing that perspective as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been working with men's group and men's, so I really appreciate you speaking into that because that is true. Like I do that to everybody,
Mhm.
and I get so many different reactions
He
because
does.
like most humans don't know how to react when I'm doing that, whether they're men or women.
And this is how we start to normalize human connection. Get off the phone and go take a walk and smile at your neighbors.
Yeah, and I will say this for with you saying that for my brothers, I also challenge you to when you do the eye contact, not check them out, not be like wow, but just to like really truly just be like that is a sister. We are protectors for the women and the children and our other brothers. We're protectors. So it's like control your energy, own your energy and your feels and your thoughts. They're a beautiful woman. You can still be like in your mind, be like, wow, she's a beautiful, attractive woman. But they can feel and sense that, but like when you are safe and you work on your being a safe man, they feel that too.
Mhm.
But they also still get triggered because of the collective.
Yeah.
But that's the work we're all doing.
Yeah, and I really love that you invited the masculine to step more into the protector role because I've been in warrior my whole life, not because I want to be a warrior, because I've had no choice.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, please, brothers, we need you to rise and step up and stand in the light.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What does our brother Ryan have to say over there?
Yeah, Ryan. He's like, he said, I receive each of your gifts in this moment fully
Mm,
with the prayer of the heart, appreciation and equity growing in our connection.
mm.
And then he said, yes, her value is her medicine, not her body.
That's right. And that's again like
Well said, brother.
that's again the programming of the lust. Did you all hear that car beep go off? Okay. That's spirit saying, yep, clearing the energy right now. The work doesn't even need to be in the field. And women know the difference. The body knows the difference. Men, you know the difference when a woman is being sweet and when she's being manipulative. Okay? You know the difference. Unless you're under some kind of hex or spell, which is also very real.
I know firsthand.
And women, in the same way, we know the difference. So if you can feel the difference, hello, we are also human. We can feel the difference, if not more, because we are so in tune. Well, theoretically. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, and I only brought that up because for the ending and closing of this, I just want to speak into how can we expand our consciousness?
Mm-hmm.
How can we
yes.
start to make those shifts in those
Yes.
conversation pieces?
Yes. Yes.
Because the thing is, every human is guilty of ego, of
100%.
judgment, of all the things.
Mhm.
That's what makes us human.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's hard not to be in
Mhm.
these days, especially.
Mm-hmm.
So it's doing the work
Mm-hmm.
and honoring
Mm-hmm.
those that are doing the work.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And having compassion and grace for those that don't even know that the work needs to happen because they are in an environment or raised in a way that
Mm-hmm.
they don't even realize that that's a thing,
Mm-hmm.
a reality.
Yeah. Ryan is saying safe masculinity is like a lighthouse in the storm. Yes. And the world, Mother Earth, feminine consciousness, she needs the men to, as you say, stand shoulder to shoulder now more than ever.
And Ryan, I'm glad I can stand shoulder to shoulder with you. I could tell already, brother. So we need more of us. We have a lot of work to do, brother.
So let's take a breath together and let this conversation just settle into stillness. Noticing what has been stirred and acknowledging it. Not everything that comes into the field of awareness needs action. Hmm. And dropping deeper into the sacred sovereign heart space. Thanking you who is here live with us, Ryan, anyone else who's here but was just a silent witness. For those of you who are live, if you did not catch our duo and solo episodes, the link to the playlist is in the description box below. Thank you for forming this field with us. Thank you for showing up and doing your work. And it's scary to take that first step to break the pattern. Yet you have so much support.
Truth.
Mm-hmm. Any closing words of wisdom? Oh, chosen one.
No. We got this, everybody. We can do this. We can do hard things with ease and grace.
Mm-hmm.
Because we need it. Like I always say, we're stronger shoulder to shoulder than we are against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Those old timelines and those old stories that they're slowly transmuting and dispersing, because we need to create space and room so that we can help each other. We have a world that we can support each other.
Mm-hmm.
And we can stand up to what is needed to be stood up against.
Yes.
We need to take our sovereignty back.
Yeah.
In all the ways.
All the
collectively,
ways.
Individually,
financially,
all
mentally, emotionally, creatively.
So,
and if there's hiccups and distractions and noise and chaos, like what happened when we started to get this live going, I mean, we prepared. Don't let that shit stop you, because that's just, it's tantrum playing out.
Yeah.
And you are going to experience the ego tantrums. You are going to experience the tantrums of people in your life. You are going to experience collective tantrum.
Yeah.
And the practice is really learning how to be steady in your nervous system and expand your capacity to witness without being moved.
Steady in the middle of the tornado.
Yes.
The storm around you.
Yes. Men, be the lighthouse. Women, gather. And let's do this thing together. I'm having moon brain, so I am.
Yeah, we're wrapping this up.
I am complete. Aho, we are complete. Circle complete. Grateful, 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 grateful.
Gratitude.
Thank you, everyone.
Much love to you all.
Blessings.
Peace.